Hi, my name is Tim Martin, and we're here in Luxor, Egypt. It's the center of one of the great sculpture-loving cultures in the world. For the last 4,000 years, they've developed a sculptural language that is incredibly rich and complex. It includes sculpture in the round, relief sculpture, sculpture related to architecture, and a kind of pictorial low-relief carving. It's a very, very rich language. And we're here to find out what's happening to it today. Now, if we call this year zero, then all the way back there, stretching 2,000 years, marks the tradition of Egyptian sculpture. But here at year zero, the Romans come. This is the age of Antony and Cleopatra. So from the year zero up to around 350, 400, we have the arrival of Christianity. But their sculptural tradition was taken from Byzantine Greece and was very different from the Egyptian tradition. So from about 400 up to around the year 700, we have the arrival of Islam. But Islam was an iconoclastic culture, and it didn't permit sculptural or pictorial representation of gods or prophets. So from about 700 up to another 1,000 years, up to around the 1700s, we have the birth of European archaeology. And that's when a lot of this was dug up and rediscovered. From the 1700s all the way up to 1900, this is when Howard Carter rediscovers the tomb of Tutankhamun, and Europe and America go crazy for Egyptian sculpture and art. From 1900 just up to around 1920, we have the birth of modern European tourism here in Egypt, and this is when the contemporary sculptural tradition starts. This is when Egyptian carvers rediscover Egyptian sculpture and turn again to carving it. This part of the West Bank is actually full of makers of reproductions and copies of ancient Egyptian sculpture, obviously for the tourist trade. And yet, what we also have here is an enormous sculptural factory area along the Nile that's involved in making this stuff. Now, this is an interesting question, an interesting problem, because we obviously have a fantastic collection of original Egyptian sculpture in the Luxor Museum and in Karnak and Luxor Temple, and anyone can look at. And then we have a range of craftsmen here busy figuring out that language and negotiating the original old language with a more contemporary taste, which admittedly, actually, it sometimes borders on kitsch. So there's a whole range here, from fluorescent glass, day glow, rather kitsch or pop reproductions, all the way down to reproductions that are so fine that there's actually a market here for what is said to be original pieces, but it's actually reproductions. So when did the sculpture industry really begin in Egypt?
It begins in the 1920s, basically, after the discovery of the famous boy king Tutankhamun.
Yeah, and that brought the tourists.
Yes, that brought a lot of tourists, and it makes the markets began for us.
Okay.
Yes.
So that was the time of your grandfather?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
And he was a carver?
Yes, he was, yes.
What kinds of stone did he carve?
Limestone.
Mostly limestone?
Mostly limestone,
And
yes.
you took that just locally, did you?
Yes, limestone was, as you are heading to Valley of the King, it's actually in the right-hand side behind the high hills. There is a big, massive valley there, and there where they used to bring their limestone from.
And at that time, how many families were carving?
They weren't really many. They were only few families, maybe 5, 6 families at that time.
And when did the business get bigger?
It begins in the 1970s. Then they were after the 1973. The tourist market opens much more,
Yeah.
then it begins to grow
Yeah.
gradually, slowly.
Yeah.
Yes.
And when did the sculpture industry hit its peak?
1998.
1998.
Yes, 1998. It was a great time. A lot of tourists did come. 1995 upwards. Then it started until
Today.
recently,
When
until
it's-
today. Yes.
When it's quite poor now.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Well, until the last 5 years.
Yeah.
But before, from 1995 till, say, 2011, a lot of tourists every day.
How many families were carving in the industry at the peak?
Thousands,
Thousands.
yes.
Yeah.
Thousands of people. But today, not much.
Yeah.
People had to find other jobs because of there is not much tourist business at the moment.
How much competition was there between the carvers? Who can do the best reproduction?
The challenge was mainly begin the people who they work with basalt stone and granite stone.
Yeah.
Because they are very solid, tough stone.
Yeah.
You have to be very skilled to be able to finish a really good finish, like almost similar to the fair one.
Now, in the Luxor Museum and also in the British Museum, there's some very beautiful drawings giving a very precise system of proportions in Egyptian sculpture.
Yes.
It has to do with the width of the fist.
Yes.
How much of that system of proportions do today's sculptors use and understand?
Sculptures here, they work by passing knowledge. We don't really, they are not really, there is no school to educate that kind of jobs.
Okay.
We have to teach, if you like, each other
Yeah.
how to do it.
Father to son.
Yes.
Brother to
Brothers to
brother.
brother, yes.
Yeah, okay. So some of the knowledge of the system of proportions then is lost.
It is.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, it is at the moment. And at the moment, a lot of people aren't working like they used to. Why? Because the people aren't valuing the work as it should.
Yeah.
You know?
Because carving takes a long time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
You can make a casting very quickly.
Yeah, casting is very easy.
Yeah,
like
very
what
easy.
they do in China, it's
Yeah.
you know, it's all boxes.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, all machine made.
Machine made.
Yeah.
Yes. Here we don't tend to rely on machines because if the machine broke, you need parts for it, and it's difficult to find these kind of parts. So people mainly do 90% of their work by hand.
So this is a beautiful piece in basalt. How long would it take for carving this?
It could take between 1 to 1.5 months to finish it from A to Z.
My name is Bilal. I am artist in Luxor here to work. Long time to work from Airborne, and I love to work in granite stone and basalt stone. First time I work in my life in limestone and hammer stone. This is very soft stone to work in this. Realize this last one I work, and after no work again.
Why did you stop?
Because no tourists.
There's no tourists.
No tourists.
There's no business.
Before revolution, I work good. Look, this is I make it and little finish. It's not finished yet. It's not finished yet. After revolution, no finish. Look, no money to get metal. No money to work to bring. Had no money to bring food. Understand? I make my land now. I plant my land to make food for my child. What you see it, my child, and to make it this. Now no, nothing. This is last one I work in from 4-5 years. I work it before revolution, and after finish stop. Finish work again. Before I love to work in granite. Before I love to work with tourists to make some. He need it in his house. He bring for me photo. I need this same exactly, and I make it for him. and he happy, I'm happy. He have his something he needed to make his house and like it. Me, I happy by take money and happy to work because some people ask granite stone is very hard. I say no hard, no hard. This is granite stone is very soft stone. When you need it, to talk to him, to talk together, to make life with him. It's very easy to work in this, not very hard. Some people are very hard to say because he can't feel the stone. The stone he like to feeling. Everything in the world he like feeling. If you feel the stone, you easy work with it and make nice. But now, no work again with tourist down, not up.
Traditional sculpture in Luxor has been convulsed by the revolution. Its economy was tied to the tourist trade and to its values of tradition and history. But here in Luxor, there's also an art school that fosters a new generation of contemporary sculptors with a remarkably wide range. Here, sculptors don't have to respond to the ancient Egyptian tradition unless they want to. They can respond to any tradition they like. There's an active 19th century European idea of sculpture here. Fine, figurative low relief. And here, a lion in clay. It seems watchful, even on the prowl. Another animal spirit brought into the pantheon. And here, a fine ostrich in steel, whose head is decidedly not in the sand. A lot of modernist and cubist-inspired work, such as this fine figure that would fit very nicely amongst Picasso's images of Don Quixote. But here is perhaps the nicest.
It's mine.
This is your piece.
Yeah.
This is not like his
Oh,
No, it's glass.
this is glass.
He
Yeah.
used recycled.
Yeah. Wow. Okay.
This,
I thought it was plastic.
that's
Yeah.
Yeah, this is recycled glass.
yeah, this is a glass bottle, and I put this in the oven and melt it.
Yeah. Like Jasper Johns with the ears and the mouths.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's about the period after revolution. Many people had was silent, didn't talk. Many people killed, and many something happened, and no one talked about this. We can see the mistakes and didn't talk, and hear about everything, the news, the bad news, and we didn't do anything. It's about we see and hear and talk.
For some decades now, the production of sculpture in Luxor has come from two distinct areas. Each has played a different role, and each has been affected by the revolution differently. Some Luxor sculptors look to a revival of the economy and of their fortunes, but with little optimism. Other artists carefully weigh their options in a post-revolutionary environment. But there is room, I think, for a careful resurgence of the art as an engine to process cultural business, to stimulate a kind of debate that underlies the tensions on the surface and redresses the deeper conflicts that rumble away in Egypt's cultural infrastructure and communal unconscious. The energy shown in the revolution and the ideas that circulated then have not always made their way into the sculptural arts. Questions remain, for example, about how sculpture can reflect the concerns of a younger generation of Egyptians. Many of these concerns are not about politics, economics, or religion. They vary, of course, but include concerns about the environment, the definition of integrity between the genders, and the sheer will to free expression. And so I wonder whether sculpture has a different role to play, say, than the ever-present Egyptian television. As a static art, sculpture's challenge would seem to be to stop the moment,
to stop the flow of lived experience, and to reflect on the very structures by which thought itself takes place.